There are some that you want, may not. One big one that they use in the stress is, see this pen? Sell it to me. You know, that's a very common one. What interests you least about this job? Now that's a tough question. How do you say that? You want the job, what are you going to tell them you don't like about it? You know, then this is my favorite. How would you evaluate me as an interviewer? How do you answer these questions? I mean, that's the idea. So again, you can always throw one of these in if you like. You see how the person reacts to a little bit of stress depending on the job and the level and so forth. But don't make the whole interview about the stress questions or it's not going to be a good interview. All right, then we get to the illegal questions. I'm going to leave these with you. These were downloaded from the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. And obviously you can't ask anything, like I said, you can't ask marital status, religion, race. You can't ask, you know, about pregnancy. You can't ask if they tell you they have children. Oh, really? Are you going to have more children? You can't ask those questions. Okay, you can't ask, are you handicapped? What you can do is if you have in your job specs that you need to climb a ladder, or you need to lift 30 pounds, or you need to do this or do that to do the job, you can ask them if they have the ability to do that. But you can't ask them if they're handicapped. That's illegal. Some of the other areas, you know, now you're not supposed to ask for passwords for Facebook or any of that stuff. Like I said, organizations, you can't ask them what organizations they belong to or any of that. You can't ask anything about health or weight or any of that stuff either. So you have to stay away from them. These are important that you know what these are so that, because if you do go down this road, it could be messy. Yes?
Organizations, you mean religious, not like industrial or?
Well, again, if there's an organization that's tied into what you do, you can say, oh, have you ever been a member of that? Right. But you can't say what organizations do you belong to, you know, because then they may tell you, you know, something that, you know, you don't really want to hear, and it can't influence your decision about what organizations. But you can say, like I said, depending on what you are, like if you're in human resources, you could say, do you belong to the local SHRM chapter? You know, have you ever belonged to the local SHRM chapter or something like that? But you really can't get into organizations because people can belong to any number of different things, and it's really, to be quite honest, the way they look at it, it's none of your business, and it has no impact on whether they can do the job you're looking for them to do. So you want to stay away from those illegal questions. Effective interview preparation. Okay, when we started, and I told you, I said when we work with a client that comes to us because they've lost their job, you know, the main thing is they need to be prepared going into the interview process. Well, the same applies to you. You're looking for somebody to work for your company, you're looking for them to perform a job, and you're hoping they're going to be with you for quite a long time. So you need to put in a little bit of time prepping too. So what you want to do is make sure that you go through what we just talked about. You want to make sure that you have a number of behavioral questions that you want to ask. You want to make sure that you have a number of stress questions if that's your goal. You want to make sure that they can meet the skill set. But again, you know, you want to make sure that up front you know that what's going on. I'm going to hand out as part of this little package here, a protocol sheet. And the protocol sheet is just a guideline for some things you can do to be prepared for the interview. And what you're going to do is you're going to match up your tasks that you need performed to certain questions, your skills that they're going to go with certain questions, and your experience that you're going to have certain questions that you would ask. And again, does this mean you go down this list when you're interviewing? No. It just means you're prepared, and in your thought process you have a plan. Because if you're not prepared, the interview's not going to go well, and you're going to be disappointed with the results. That's the bottom line. And then there's going to be a summary sheet. I'm not handing out a summary sheet. A summary sheet basically is just take a blank piece of paper, and when the interview is over, you know, you say goodbye to the person, you walk them to the door, whatever it may be, or you kick them out because you didn't like them, however you want to handle it. But then you go get a cup of coffee, get a drink of water, whatever, come back to your desk, sit down, and write out, what were these people's strengths? Did they have a weakness or an area where you felt they may be vulnerable that it wouldn't fit with your company? And an overall opinion. Is this somebody I would come back for another interview? Is this somebody I would hire? Or is this somebody I'm just going to send an email to thanking them for coming and, you know, but we've made a decision to go in a different direction. So it's a debrief for you. And again, you're going to be interviewing 3 or 4 or 5 people. Hopefully within that realm you'll find somebody. Sometimes it takes longer. So you want to make sure that you write this stuff down, because if they're the first person and then you go through 4 people, you're going to forget. And they may be the best person and you don't hire them because you forget and you hire the person that was last in your office. And that's not what you want to do. So make sure you do a debrief when you're done.